Oh my goodness, dude. Oh boy, we have to go out there and talk about this. We have to. This is weird. I've never been in this position before where the Vancouver Canucks are kind of on the winning side. Okay, let's go over the context. Why am I so flabbergasted here? What exactly are we referring to? Well, we're going over onto The Athletic because Arthur Staple, the guy who writes Rangers stuff, went out there and posted this article yesterday. 10 potential Rangers trade targets, options for GM Chris Drury. You know the protocol, link is going to be in the description if you want to read this yourself, and if you have The Athletic, because it's behind a paywall, we're not going to go out there and screenshot it ourselves. Instead, what we're doing is we're going over onto... the one thing we're talking about is everywhere, so we can go onto Twitter, it was posted there, we can go over onto Reddit, it was posted there too. I'm not screenshotting this myself, it was other people who screenshotted it and posted it onto their own social media platforms. So we're going over onto what Arthur Staple writes about the New York Rangers and how they could potentially target Vancouver Canucks forward Conor Garland. And before we read the actual excerpt here, let's just go over the profile for Garland himself, talk about the player, talk about the situation here. Conor Garland is a fairly solid hockey player. He's 27 years old, 5'10", 165, right-handed forward, signed to the end of 2025-2026, making $4.95 million a season. All things considered, Conor Garland is really not a bad hockey player. He had 46 points in 81 games last year and 52 points in 77 games played the year before that. Realistically, Conor Garland had a pretty alright year, and I think that may be the best adjective to describe it. It was alright. Compared to what a lot of people saw to Garland when Travis Green was still head coach, for example, at the beginning of 2021-2022, I think it would be fair to say that a lot of Canucks fans acknowledge that Conor Garland can be better than he has been, although it doesn't change the fact that he is still a feisty, smaller forward that can score once in a while. He had a hat-trick at the end of the season, so that was nice to see, but at the end of the day, Conor Garland is one of many Vancouver Canucks top 6 caliber wingers that could be on the move. You've got so many guys on both the right and the left, Mikheyev, Kuzmenko, Tanner Pearson you could debate, Conor Garland, Brock Besser, Anthony Beauvillier. There are so many wingers on this team swapping around and about that the Canucks are going to have to trade away somebody if they want to free up some money. And because of Brock Besser's commitment to staying with the team and all the rumors we have seen about him not being on the Canucks trade block anymore, Conor Garland is looking more and more like the appropriate target. We've talked about this before, but the Canucks have 3 top 6 caliber right-handed wingers in Besser, Kuzmenko, and Garland. You only have 2 top 6 spots for right-handed guys, unless you loaded them up and played 2 of them on the same line. And so Conor Garland, based off of the way this organization is structured, based off of the way everybody's been talking about the Canucks' approach to the offseason, he is trade target number 1. And when it comes to what Arthur Staples writes about how the Rangers could go out there and target Garland, it's kind of a riot, if I do say so myself. Let's go over onto the Canucks subreddit and read the screenshot by Paper Moonshine as to what Staple writes, as Conor Garland is one of the earlier mentioned names on this piece. Conor Garland, Vancouver Canucks, 3 years left, 4.9 AAV. If there's a player on this list that the Rangers could acquire in a straightforward way, it's the 27-year-old Conor Garland. He's a decent scorer and a pain in the ass to play against, which makes him a decent fit on the Rangers. Plus, he's a right-shot winger, which they have exactly one of right now. Chris Drury would have to get Vancouver, which is already in cap hell for next season, to eat a portion of Garland's cap hit, and the likeliest return would be Alexis Lafreniere. The Connected Dots rumor mill has the Canucks interested in Lafreniere, likely due to the presence of his former agent, assistant GM Emily Castonguay, in the front office. If, and big if, Drury is ready to move on from the first overall pick in 2020, this might be the simplest way to go about it, while also acquiring a player the Rangers could use. And, okay, oh man, you didn't just write that, did you? Conor Garland with salary retained for Alexis Lafreniere? Bro, it's not too often that the Vancouver Canucks fan base has actually, good things to talk about, because when I saw this article published, of course, I read it, I was able to see the article, but when I saw this little excerpt posted onto Reddit and Twitter, the main response from all Canucks fans was, What the hell, really? Garland, salary retained for Lafreniere? Okay, bet. Let's do it. Right here, right now. Deal or no deal, I take the deal. Don't even need to think about it. I'm doing that trade 10 times out of 10. And all Canucks fans seem to have had this same sentiment reaction where it was like, yeah, what the hell are you talking about, Staple? Really? Is Conor Garland really that good that you would be giving up Alexis Lafreniere in the process? Or is Alexis Lafreniere really that bad that you'd settle for Conor Garland in a trade? 1-for-1 too, just with salary? Dude, Conor Garland is not making an extraordinarily high amount of money, and he's signed on just for the next 2-3 seasons, so if you're retaining, let's say worst case scenario, 50%, that's, what is that, 4.95 divided by 2, let's just say 2.5. Round it up to the nearest 10, how about that? If the Vancouver Canucks are retaining $2.5 million a season on Conor Garland, they get Alexis Lafreniere in return, and they re-sign Lafreniere to a cheap deal, you may be in a position to, firstly, A, save money, because Conor Garland at 4.9 may be more expensive than Conor Garland 50% retained, 2.5, plus whatever dollar amount you're able to sign Lafreniere to, especially since Castonguay, the agent that represented him, is going to be going against him now in these contract negotiations. And B, you'll also be getting younger in the process, in the way the Vancouver Canucks want to be getting younger. We've been seeing all these rumors from Dollywall and other insiders out there saying that the Canucks don't want to get 18-year-old guys. They don't want to get prospects. They don't want to get guys that will help them out years from now. They want to get guys that will help them out years from now, but who can also help them out today. It's why they made the trade for Hronek. It's why they signed Akito Hirose. It's why they've been doing the types of moves they've been doing. They want talent now and in the future. Aatu Ratu is part of that too. And Alexis Lafreniere, like it or not, even though he has been sort of a bust the past few years, he can still contribute to an NHL team today. Sure, he may not ever be that 70, 80, 90-point player that people thought he'd be able to be back when he was drafted in 2020 first overall, but if you get a serviceable middle six, let's say 30, 40-point winger out of that, then you do get yourselves value in a guy who is so much younger than Conor Garland and who, in the short term, will be cheaper. This is a win-win. For New York, I get it. You guys want to improve. You guys want to get into the playoffs. You want to do now things rather than future things because you have the core right now. I mean, idealistically, you probably would have wanted to do last year things because you had Tarasenko and Kane on your team, for crying out loud. But this team is still in that window of opportunity to contend. And if you wanted to do something like that, trade away Lafreniere for a player who would probably be a bit more effective in the short term, then okay, Conor Garland is your guy. At least I hope he is, because if you send over Lafreniere in the process, I am all for that. I know there may be some trauma here. I know you could say, oh, last time the Rangers sent over a middling top six, middle six young forward to the Canucks, it didn't work out so well. Vitaly Kravtsov worked out amazing for you, didn't he? I get that. I know it didn't work out. But at the very least, the Canucks are still holding on to that guy's rights, and he'll be in the KHL for 2 years before coming back over to the NHL, assuming he actually improves and wants to play here again. Lafreniere, plain and simple, is better than Kravtsov is right now. And there is more value to Lafreniere since he is younger, he does have the pedigree, first overall pick, etc., etc. And if the price is Conor Garland, if the price is something the Canucks are trying to get rid of anyway, then okay, cool. Thanks for writing this article, Arthur Staple. Now I can go out there and sleep in peace. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this idea. Lafreniere for Conor Garland. I mean, the article is going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and read it yourself. Of course, you need The Athletic to do so, but thoughts in the comment section either way. Do you want the Canucks to make this move? Do you want the Rangers to make this move? If you're a fan of either team, what are your opinions about this type of a trade? I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 9, and bye.